Hey everyone, welcome to my channel as a married man. I want to thank you all for tuning it in and checking it out. It's here where we talk about love, life, relationships, and more, all from the perspective of a married man. So please, everyone, hit that like button if you will, and definitely subscribe to the channel. I totally appreciate all of you. So today, everyone, I'm actually responding to a Reddit post that was forwarded to me earlier today in my email by a channel follower. And, I thought it was interesting. I read it over quick and, I thought I'd give my 2 cents, as a married man. Like no, normally I don't do Reddit stories because there's there's like a million YouTube channels, that are read by AI, and they read those cheating spouse stories, and those YouTube channels. They're like a dime a dozen. Just go and do all these Reddit infidelity stories, and try to stay a little different, but with this one, I thought, what the heck? I'll go over it quick and give you my input as a married man. So the story is from the AITAH subreddit. Am I the a-hole? And the article or post or whatever, it's titled, "Help, my husband thinks I'm an AH for wanting him to stop seeing his AP." And the story starts, and feel free to read along, everyone. I actually wrote subtitles for this, so for your viewing pleasure. And because I'm a terrible narrator, I apologize in advance if I stumble through this story. So I wrote captions for you. But anyways, here we go, guys. Here's the story. Help, my husband thinks I'm an AH for wanting him to stop seeing his AP. A-hole is AH, and AP is a fair partner. My husband and I, age 30, have been together for 10 years. He has always had a higher sex drive than me. After our children were born, my drive plummeted, and I honestly don't like sex. I've always compensated with a lot of hugs and kisses and cuddles, and I apologized all the time. I'm not selfish, though, and I did my best to give him sex. About 2 years ago, he just stopped initiating altogether. He was happier than ever, and our relationship solid. I am thinking back now, it all happened gradually and unnoticed to me. Now I found out that he has been seeing a woman in her 40s. When I found out, I kicked him out, and I was broken for weeks, and I couldn't leave my bed. I thought he loved me. Then, when I was ready to talk, he wasn't as I expected him to be. He wasn't anxious or sorry or anything. He just calmly said that he found someone with the same problem as him. He was getting very depressed because of the lack of sex. I asked him why he didn't ask me for more, and he said he wanted a woman that wanted him and wanted sex. I told him that instead of talking to me like an adult, he went behind my back, and he said, yeah, because people would totally understand a man who was demanding sex from his wife. I asked him, what now? He said nothing. He didn't want to change it. We have a good life together. We love each other, and he is not bothering me anymore about something I didn't want. I asked him if he loved her or me. He said both. He loved me as his wife, best friend, and partner. She is just sex, and he loves that about her. I demanded that he end his relationship and start counseling with me. Never see her again. We can go to sex therapy. He said I was an AH for demanding that because it is something I have no interest in. And he told me either we stay as it is or I could leave him. I don't think I am the AH. Cheating is never, never, never okay. He could have talked to me more about wanting sex. He should have understood me. I hate my life, but he says that I'm the AH because I was totally fine with things and never once wondered why he stopped talking about sex, and probably even loved that he was off my back about it, but never once wondered then how is it he's getting his needs met. He kept silent, and it suited me, and now I could still keep silent and enjoy the rest of our marriage. So, wow, that's a story right there, guys. Um, so what are my thoughts as a married man? Well, I guess first I'll start by answering the wife's question. Is she the a-hole? Yes. My I would say yes. Like she is the a-hole. However, like, before everyone starts throwing rocks at me, I would also add, like, her husband is an a-hole too. And, let me explain and let me start with the wife here, I guess. So the wife, she's married 10 years with children, and she states her husband has always had a sex drive, but after children, it plummeted, like to the point where she just doesn't want to have sex anymore. But she goes ahead and states, that she compensated by giving hugs and kisses and cuddles and apologies. As a married man, as a man in general, I'd tell the wife if she was listening, a kiss and a cuddle and an apology, that doesn't cut it, like when a man wants sex, especially if it's something, that he's had and always enjoyed with you. Just turning off the tap, that doesn't go well. And she states specifically like she knew he was a high sex drive, and yet she just, she stopped putting out. So, that says a lot right there. Um, so like she knew he wanted sex, but only like I guess she gave him like pity sex sometimes if he begged enough. And all of a sudden one day the husband just stops asking. So, here we keep going. And the wife, she finds out her husband, basically has a side piece, a woman in her 40s. And, the husband straight up tells her all unapologetic and stuff. He tells her, like, I just wanted sex. And he was getting depressed and he found a woman who had a likewise problem. I guess that's what they'd call like a high libido, low libido. I've seen that mentioned on Reddit. The husband's a high libido and his wife is like a no libido in this situation, I guess. Um, but like when she asks why you didn't just tell her, like, why didn't you tell me you wanted more sex? And he counters with like to quote, he tells her, he said that he wanted a woman that wanted him and wanted sex. And that's kind of what makes her an a-hole, in my opinion, Like she does go on, I'll admit, she does go on to state, like, you have to ditch this woman, you have to stop seeing her, we can attend therapy, let's fix our marriage. Like that's reasonable. Like wanting to salvage the marriage, that's props to the wife. Um, and I give the wife props as well for stating straight up, like cheating is never, never, never okay. And as a married man, like that's the truth. So like I give her props that she's right about wanting to fix the marriage, maybe. And she's definitely right about cheating. So, like, is she the a-hole here? Yes, because she knew her husband wanted sex and she didn't give it to him. And so, like, she was depriving him of something he enjoyed in their marriage. And like, like a cuddle and a kiss and an apology like that. When your husband stops asking all of a sudden, that's kind of a red flag. And, she found out eventually, but unfortunately, she found out the hard way. Like, however, like what is unforgivable, almost, what really makes her the a-hole is yeah, like her husband had that high sex drive and she just kind of gave him breadcrumbs and it blew up in her face. And moving on to the husband here, like the part that makes him the a-hole is the fact that he's a cheater, period. Like if you cheat in your marriage, you're a piece of shite, like as a married man, I got it's like zero tolerance for cheaters in a marriage. Like there's just zero tolerance. And I'm glad the wife pointed that out, even though she did mention, we can try therapy and whatnot. But whether you're the man in the woman or the woman in the relationship, like, my wife doesn't give me sex. That's not a valid reason to cheat. Like there is no valid reason for cheating. If things are bad, you just end it. End the marriage and the relationship. You don't cheat like ever. Like just FYI real quick, guys, who are I'm as I said, I'm just a married man. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a licensed professional. I'm not a love like guru or life coach or whatever. Yeah, I'm just an average Joe. I'm just a regular guy, who's married. Yeah, I cover videos sometimes from channels, from relationship experts, from marriage coaches and life whatever coaches. And some people, they're selling their merch or their services, relationship boot camps and stuff. Like I don't have any experience like that. I'm just a married dude. So like these opinions that I give, yeah, I'm just someone that may have been in this situation. Maybe I've gone through something similar, and believe it or not, yeah, I've been through something kind of like this. But like, anyways, sorry to go off on that tangent. I just want to put that disclaimer in there. Um, I'm just a regular guy and who happens to be married. But back to the husband that's talking about, like, he is also the a-hole in his story. And that's because he cheated. And the fact that he's pretty nonchalant about it is kind of telling as well. Like his reaction, even the wife states, like, the husband, he wasn't anxious, he wasn't sorry and whatever. That's pretty telling. Um, it tells me as a married man that he doesn't love her anymore, which is pretty sad. Like, I think he fell out of love with her as the sex kind of dwindled. And I know that, I don't mean to quote Star Wars, that anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering and whatever. But like, I think maybe like he became bitter at one point and the bitterness led to anger and into indifference. And the opposite of love isn't hate. They say the opposite of love is indifference. I think the husband literally became indifferent to his wife. And that shows just due to the fact that, he wasn't crying, he wasn't begging, he wasn't, I'm sorry, baby, we can work this out. It was kind of like, yeah, yeah, I got a side piece. And anyways, let's just keep things as they are and move along. Like, if you love your spouse, as a married man talking here, if you love your spouse, you don't want to hurt them ever. Saying mean things to them, like doing mean things to them, like intentionally hurting them. Like that's not something a loving person in a loving marriage will do. You don't want to hurt your spouse ever. And like he hurt her in like the worst way. And even showing his indifference is hurting her. And that's not something you do when you're in love. And so when he claims that, well, I love you, you know, you're my partner, you're my spouse, you're my whatever child's mother. I just love her for sex. That's true. He loves that other woman for the sex she provides, and he loves his comfortable life, I'm guessing. Uh, and he's an a-hole in my opinion. But now that we've kind of, as a married man, now that I've kind of agreed that, pointed out, like, you know, we got two kind of a-hole people here. Like, what could they have done differently? And, you know, as a married man, I would definitely say like communication. Like there was a complete breakdown in communication here. Uh, like the husband, particularly, specifically the husband, he should have straight up approached his wife and then told her, like, look, like I'm unsatisfied sexually, you know, I want more. And if you're not willing to give it, or like if you can't give it, or you won't give it, then maybe we should see a therapist. Maybe we should talk to someone, or you know, maybe we should get a divorce. And you know that's a difficult conversation. You know, communication is important. It is difficult, but it's the most important thing in a relationship. Like the husband should have manned up as the man in that relationship, and he should have initiated that conversation, that hard conversation where he tells her, like, look, I'm not happy, and you're kind of the problem. Like, yeah, that hurts. And yeah, that is gonna hurt her, but you know what hurts worse, you know, finding out that your husband has like he's a cheater, finding out he's actively cheating, or just finding out like he's telling you you're not satisfying me in bed. Like cheating hurts. It hurts men just as much as it hurts women. And so he hurt her really bad, but like the problem here was communication. And as I stated, I'm not a coach or a therapist or anything, but I do know as a married man, like communication is the key to a successful marriage. And that conversation, it should have been had, even if he was just serving her with divorce papers, even if he just tell her, look, irreconcilable differences, or make something up, like just give, see, don't make something up. Just tell her the freaking truth. Have that hard conversation. Tell her what the problem is and work on it. Like it sounds easy and it is maybe difficult, but it needs to be done. And so like, you know, as a married man, my little bit of average Joe wisdom here is that, you know, cheating is never an option. Like even the wife states it. Like never, never, never. Like no good comes out of it. And when your partner finds out, like they're not going to be like, oh, okay, you know, no problem. You know, like no, it crushes them emotionally. Like she even stated, you know, I was in bed for weeks. Like I couldn't function. Like it hurts. There's so many stories on there. Like I said, these Reddit, AI, Red YouTube, infidelity channels, like even the Red Pill Manosphere community talking about their stories of relationship woes. Like when it comes to cheating, like dudes just, it destroys people. The strongest guy out there, you can break him down into nothing over cheating. Because when you give your heart to someone and they break it, like there's an empty piece inside you there, you know? So it's like, yes, the husband, he's an a-hole, and the wife is an a-hole. Like she stopped giving sex. So the husband, he took a lover on the side, you know? Like, who's the bad person? They both are. Like one is bad for neglecting their partner's needs, and the other is bad for breaking his partner's trust and her heart, you know? So as a married man, like I would have to say there's no winners here. And the fact that they have children makes that even worse. Um, I'm interested to see how this story unfolds. Like I don't follow Reddit. Like I try to stay away from these subreddits and whatnot, relationship stories. Like I said, I didn't want to become one of those channels that reads this stuff, kind of regurgitating stories that like five or six or 10 other channels are doing. But this story in particular, like as a married man, I saw both sides of the coin, so to speak, like I see things from her perspective and I see things from the husband's perspective, and then I can give my advice, which is like, the wife is guilty in some parts and the husband's guilty in some parts, and like who's the bigger a-hole if you want to ask? Oh, the husband is, because he cheated, and that's like the biggest cardinal sin in a relationship. And like that's my opinion. But like, guys, let me know what you think here. Like, is she the a-hole? Like, is her husband the a-hole? Who's the bigger a-hole? Like, give me your thoughts in the comments, guys. And I want to give a shout out to the channel subscriber who actually forwarded me the story. Yeah, I just broke the 50 subscriber mark. I'm super happy. I got ordered like pizza for dinner just to celebrate little milestones for a little channel here. But I guess these 50 subscribers aren't all sock accounts from my wife and daughters at this point. I have actual real people listening to me now, and that makes me feel pretty good. But anyways, guys, I'm interested to know what you think of this story. So leave me your comments, uh, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you do want to reach out to me with more story ideas, if you do like these Reddit stories, let me know. If you got some vintage toys you want to have throw my way, let me know. Yeah, my email is asamarriedman@outlook.com. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. A little shorter video is it's a little short story. So you let me know what you think, guys. All right. Until next time, everyone. Bye for now.